Iowa State travels to Akron to take on the Zips at high noon. Welcome to the show. My name is Brock Page, and I have a diverse portfolio of predicting the outcomes of things I have absolutely no control of. All right, the Iowa State Cyclones opened up as the 9.5-point favorites in this Saturday's matchup. Since the betting opened up, however, we've seen a good amount of this early money come in on the Akron Zips to get the job done at home. At the moment, Iowa State is now -8 against the spread. And speaking of Iowa State, they're coming off a great effort against the Iowa Hawkeyes last week. They're going up against an Akron team who was just absolutely decimated by Penn State in week 1. Even worse, the Akron Zips were getting as high as 35 points against the spread in that game. Currently, the Zips are 0-1 against the spread overall, as well as 0-1 as the underdog. All told, the case for the visiting Iowa State Cyclones can certainly be made, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. Give me Iowa State -8, getting the job done against the spread. Next game I have for you, it is going to be UCLA traveling to Memphis to take on the Tigers. UCLA opened up as the 2-point favorites in this non-conference matchup. Since the betting opened up, most of the early money's coming in on the Bruins to cover that marginal spread. UCLA is now -2.5 against the spread, and most likely we'll see that number get even bigger depending on where you're shopping. UCLA is 2-0 on the year, taking care of business against the likes of Hawaii and Texas A&M. Look for a lot of points in this one. UCLA games are 2-0 to the overs, averaging 84 total combined points in those matchups. Meanwhile, on the other side, similar story for the Memphis Tigers, as their lone game of the season went over the posted total themselves. All told, we should expect some fireworks in this one. Look for that opening line to be in the mid to high 60s when it comes to the total. That said, I'm more concerned with the spread on this one. Speaking of which, Memphis is 0-1 against the number overall and 0-1 against the spread at home. They're going up against a solid UCLA team who had an exceptional cover this past week, laying a whopping 24 points. With all that in mind, the case for UCLA can certainly be made, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. Give me the UCLA Bruins -2.5, getting the job done against the spread. The moneyline odds should be favorable for Bruins bettors as well, so give me UCLA winning it outright for some moneyline cash. I'm predicting a final score of 41-38 UCLA. All right, next game I have for you, it is going to be Air Force taking on Michigan in Ann Arbor. The Michigan Wolverines opened up as the 25-point favorites at home. Since the betting opened up, most of the money's come in on Michigan to get the job done as expected. Currently, Michigan's now laying 25.5 against the spread. And speaking of Michigan, it's really kind of tough to tell where these guys are at when it comes to covering the number. They covered a small 5-point spread against the heavily suspended Florida Gator team earlier in the year, meanwhile failing to cover a massive 34-point spread against Cincinnati. That said, this Michigan team is 1-1 against the number overall, and they've covered 1 of 2 games as the favorite. I think this opening line is very favorable for Michigan bettors. I'm going to take advantage of the little line movement on the spread here thus far. Michigan feels right in this spot. I like the Michigan Wolverines -25.5, getting the job done against the number. All right, folks, I'm going to slide in my next and final game for the show. It is going to be Oklahoma State traveling to Pitt to take on the Panthers at Heinz Field. The Oklahoma State Cowboys opened up as the 10-point favorites in this non-conference showdown. Since the betting opened up, the early money's coming in heavy on OKST. The Cowboys are now laying 11 points against the spread, and look for that number to rise. The Cowboys have had some early success against the number so far this season. Oklahoma State's a perfect 2-0 against the spread overall, going 2 for 2 in those matchups as the favorite. One of those covers came in a 28-point cover on the road. All told, OK State's been a good covering team thus far, and I'm looking for them to keep that momentum going. Give me Oklahoma State -11, getting the job done against the spread. I'm predicting a final score of 37-23, Oklahoma State. All right, folks, that is going to do it for me, but before I get out of here, I have to remind you that I am not a sports betting expert, nor do I implore you to take any of my picks. A wise man once said, good ain't free, and free ain't good. And if for some reason you decide to use the free information on this program, you're utilizing it at your own discretion. Most importantly, if you're betting any of these games, do it safe, do it responsibly, and most important, have fun. For Brock Page Productions, I'm Brock Page, and have yourself a positive day.